Richard Skipper celebrates. Every show is a celebration. Richard Skipper celebrates the best in entertainment. Each show, Richard delivers the artists you love, showcasing what makes them unique. Never gossipy. The antidote to a sometimes hectic world. Now, here's your host, Richard Skipper.
Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Richard Skipper Celebrates. What are you celebrating tonight? I'd like to begin by celebrating my friend Howard Tucker because he introduced me to the superheroes tonight. Who are your superheroes? What are you celebrating? That's what we're going to find out tonight. There are wonderful duos everywhere, and we have Nick and Desi right here in the studio tonight. We're going to find out what they're celebrating, but I believe that life is about celebration. We are living in dark days these days, but there's a lot of light when we choose to find that light. I believe that we need to celebrate art. We need to celebrate artists. We need to celebrate creativity. We need to celebrate the light within each and every one of us. And that's what this show is about. It's about finding and celebrating everybody's body of worth. And that's what tonight is going to be about. And Nick and Desi, I'm so thrilled to see both of you sitting right here. It's taken us a while to get here, but here we are, two of the busiest working people in show business. How are you?
We do it to ourselves.
Yes.
Hi.
That was a great intro of superheroes and life and
I
celebration.
love
I'm
that.
celebrating
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. That was great.
So I want to begin. I mean, this is Halloween week, and there's so many things to celebrate. Besides Halloween and little Liza, who I know is dancing in the wings, what are the two of you celebrating beyond the normal things that we're celebrating right now?
Every day I celebrate just our daughter and our partnership because for the last 2 years it's been very hard for artists all over the world, but we've had each other, which we were very fortunate to have, and be able to create art virtually for everyone who has been tuning in for the last 2 years in our shows.
Yes, and although it's been dark and there's been such sadness, I've found so much light and positivity in what we've created together. It's changed our lives that we really enjoy working together and singing and dancing and shows like plays and musicals are awesome, but I feel like we can connect with people more with what we do now. And this is what we've learned the past year and a half or 2 years, but that is something that we've found joy in and are celebrating. Absolutely. Having more time with our daughter too. Yeah, this was great.
Well, for the one or two people out there who have not seen what you do, let me just show them just a small glimpse of what you do. Here they are. First of all, I want to move in with you. Is every night like this at your house?
Pretty much, yeah. That was actually our very first kind of like preview. So it's evolved over the last year. Yeah. We got a whole new original theme written for us by Gillian Berkovitz, our pianist and musical director, and it's evolved.
But that was the beginning. That was the very first.
Our daughter is much older now too, a year and a half older.
She's 15 now. Just kidding.
So much.
I will say this: I wouldn't be surprised because I had blonde hair this time last year.
Yeah.
So this past year and a half, it's aged all of us. it wouldn't surprise me at all. I asked for a few photographs before we started. I know I don't think we got any of you, Desi, did we?
I sent a few.
There are a
So
few here, but I mean, we got this picture. I love this photograph. You look exactly the same.
Yes.
So you haven't changed. There you are. Same smile, everything. I want to go back, and we'll start with you, Nick. Tell us a little bit about that 5-year-old boy growing up in Canada. I know based on my research on you, you saw Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers and wanted, and now look at you, the two of you are creating your own dance moves, but it was Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, even at a young age, that you said, that's what I want to do. What was it about their magic that you wanted to recreate in your own life?
It was the movie Top Hat. I clearly remember that black and white, them dancing, and I was 5 years old and I saw that. It just connected with me. Something sparked in my heart and in my soul, basically, when I saw that for the first time. And from that moment on, that whole week after seeing that movie, I was pretending to tap dance in the hallways of my school. It was at school. It wasn't at home that we saw the movies. My parents have always supported and brought me to see musicals. But I was in the first grade, and from that photo, we went to another class's room, and both classes watched Top Hat. Or a half hour of it, or something, And
great.
I was just
in French, though, probably.
French, because I read that you didn't speak any English until you were much older, a little older than
non,
that.
c'est ça, absolument. Je parlais pas français, anglais jusqu'à 7 ans. Quand j'avais 7 ans, j'ai commencé à apprendre anglais. Ouais, c'est pour ça.
No, my French teacher, Miss Floyd, will hate me for this. May she rest in peace. I can't remember any of it.
That means he's really happy to be here tonight. He's going to have a great dinner after this. That's what it means.
So what is for dinner after this?
Our daughter's favorite, chicken wings and
made
green
chicken
beans
wings.
and rice. Yeah. Desi's an amazing cook. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And what about you, Desi? What was it about you that gave you the spark that you wanted to pursue this as a career?
Well, first of all, the first movies that I watched growing up were Singing in the Rain. I feel like my brother and I watched it like 5 times a week. Mary Poppins, and then West Side Story when I got a little older, which was just, I always wanted to play Anita.
You did.
And I did. So that is like just those 3 musicals I watched constantly. And I wanted to do something like that. I started dancing first. My mom is a dancer and she owns a dance studio. So I started tap and jazz and ballet. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to sing too, because that's what you need to do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those 3 movies, it's so inspiring to me.
How many productions of West Side Story have you done? Because I mean, your resume.
It's all that. I have done at least like 6.
International.
Wow. Yeah.
Broadway.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Yeah. Minnesota.
Minnesota. I've seen you sit in
Memphis. And then 2 concerts.
2 concert version of Philadelphia Symphony, Billings, Montana,
and Sacramento music.
Sacramento music. So
wow.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, that's good.
8. When I look at the 2 of your resumes put together, it's like the history of musical theater between the 2 of you, and it's amazing. And both of you, I mean, God bless the 2 of you. First of all, Des, you mentioned your mom with a dance studio, and she was a dancer herself. But God bless the parents who led you on your way. But I'm also a big proponent for arts and education. So I would love for both of you to talk about the teachers along the way who inspired you and who said, go for your dreams, and who led you on your way and on your path into show business.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to go first?
Yes.
Well, obviously my mom for dance and showing us all those amazing musicals, because she loved watching those when she was younger as well. And my teacher in high school, I started dancing in like a dance production, but then I was like, no, I need to do theater. Kathy Harris at Mission Viejo High School my first musical that I did was West Side Story there, and I was just one of the girls. And then I did Sweet Charity. We did Sweet Charity in high school. Isn't that crazy? I got to play Charity, and that when I played that role, I was like, oh, this singing, dancing, and acting, like this is what I need to do. So thanks to her, I became what I wanted to be. I knew this is what I needed to do. And then I went to AMDA, New York, and there was one teacher that stands out. He's no longer with us, but he always believed in me. The first song he gave me was A Boy Like That, Jeffrey Dunn.
Oh my God, I knew Jeffrey. Yes.
Yes. I mean, he was a very hard person. Some people very strict on people, but I don't know. We just had this bond, and he loved. Yeah, he made me thrive. He loved Liza. He would give me these cassettes, old cassettes. I still have them of Liza, and we would always just talk about it. He coached me for a cabaret audition, and I feel like we were the same person. I'm living as I wish I was alive way back then to do more theater, because that's what I love. I love older stuff. But yeah, Jeffrey.
But my belief is that I'm looking at the quote here, and if you would like to tell everyone where I got that quote.
Is it from my website?
That's right. Yes, I saw the quote, and it's such a perfect quote that, I mean, where did you first hear this quote or see this quote, and why does it resonate with you?
I feel like it was in a book, one of her books that she's had written about her. I mean, I have a trouble looking. Nicholas is a very positive person, and I think I worry a little too much. Being a woman and like taking time off to have a baby, which is special, and just, wanting to get back to what I love doing. I think this quote, if you look at it, you just can't worry about what's next, and you just keep chasing what you really want to do and keep doing it. And I don't know, Liza, when I met her, I feel like I talked to her for a couple minutes, and I was like, you're the reason why I'm in show business. One of the reason I don't know if many women like my age ever come up to her and say stuff like that, but she was so sweet. And when I asked to take a picture with her, I literally was like, I bawled after. I cried so much after. And we had to perform. It was like the Easter Bonnet, Broadway Cares. And she was in the opening number. And we got to hang out with her. It just was a dream.
Well, more importantly, she got to hang out with you.
Exactly.
That's right. So I want to talk, I mean, we could cover your career paths from here until next week, but I want to talk specifically about your story. So first of all, your show, Superheroes in Love, whose idea was it to put your story into, first of all, a cabaret form?
Yeah.
It was mine, I guess.
Yeah.
We've performed many times at Transcendence Theater Company in Sonoma.
Yeah.
And back in 2015, they had an artist series, which, if you had an idea for a show, it was really about helping create new work and new pieces and new stuff. And so they had that application again. I was like, hey, I'd love to do a show with you.
What a great opportunity, because they produce it and, have musicians and it's hard to get anything off the ground if you're like,
yes,
we just need some help.
But side story, little parentheses that maybe you don't know. Story. That the reason I also want to do that, because I knew I was going to propose during that show. I wanted to have that. Was
is
like,
that really?
It was like, I hope we get to.
You didn't know this.
I didn't know that was.
We got an exclusive tonight, folks. So.
Yeah, actually, I don't think that's common knowledge.
To do a show with me.
I did, but also I was like, oh, that's a perfect opportunity for me to propose to, because I knew I had already asked your parents when we applied. So, anyways, yeah, they
a true gentleman. You go to the parents before you went to her.
Did, yeah.
9 months before. they were nervous. Did he change his mind?
So let's back up for a moment. How did you two meet?
we did a production of White Christmas together in Denver
Mhm.
with Patty Colombo choreographing and Kent,
He was
director
the,
at
he
the
was
Denver
the
Center.
artistic director.
Mhm, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's how we met. But I
Yeah.
was taking, it was purely professional. We're just friends.
He's
And
such a
then-
nice guy. He's Canadian, so
Mhm.
he makes friends with everyone.
Yes.
And then later on, you're
Our
done.
daughter is
Okay.
done.
Bring her on. Bring her on. We want to meet her.
Wipe your hands. Do you want to
Keep
wipe her while I
telling
keep
the
telling the
story,
story?
yeah.
Sure. So, yeah, so
live.
we met, and then 6 months later, I was single, and she found out I was single, and she texted me and said, "Hey, you want to grab a coffee?" And of course, I mean, she's amazing and beautiful, and I was like, "Yeah, of course."
That's
And
true. That's true.
the rest is history.
So, I mean, how long was the courtship before you went to her parents?
So we started dating in August of 2013, and then in September of 2014, because 2014, yeah, September 2014. So 13 months after we started dating, I was like, that's the girl for me. So
2015 you proposed.
I proposed in 15, but it was September of 14 when I was on tour. I was on tour with Jersey Boys, and our tour went through LA, and Desi was doing Can at Paper Mill at the time, so she wasn't coming to visit. So I luckily had her parents by themselves without her. I took them out to dinner, and then I asked for their blessing, and her father cried and like jumped up and hugged me. I was like, okay, but don't tell anyone because it's not tomorrow. I know exactly when, and you'll have to be patient. And her mother, who can't keep a secret, she did. Her sisters, her 7 sisters now. But yes, it was.
Here's
Oh,
a
there she
cute.
Hello, Liza.
Say hi, Richard.
It is so great to meet you. I'm a fan of yours. You're a big. You're incredible.
Nuh-uh.
Can you say Liza
No?
with baby? Who's the baby?
Anytime she sees Liza like on TV or pictures, she's like Liza. I just love that she knows.
You're a big. Are you a big Liza fan?
We love Liza.
A boss family.
Yes.
Oh,
Ah, yes. You have a great family.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's
That's nice.
adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you love being baby Z? Liza with the baby Z?
No.
Oh,
come
no.
on.
Why?
Yes, you do.
I'm gonna like
Can you
a
sing
lot.
it?
Baby Z.
No.
Tonight, you're a princess.
Yeah. Right now she's Rapunzel. This is what she's gonna be for Halloween.
Oh, good.
We have a beautiful blonde wig. For
Oh,
her.
good.
Yeah, so she's gonna be beautiful. Oh, so cute. So
That
sweet.
is so sweet.
We're both family.
We are
Yes,
both
we are
family.
both family.
Oh, she's so adorable. And what is your dog's name?
That was Chief that came and said
We
hi.
have 2 dogs, one little baby one and one big one.
So the big
That's
one, you
great.
saw his
Oh, we
stick out.
don't have dogs.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
No,
Oh, I saw your doggy.
Oh my God, Zizzy.
You can watch your iPad.
Hey, come on, try.
And this is Stella.
Here's the other one. This is Stella.
And you've got a Squigs behind you. Is that Squigs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Squigs Justin did a great painting of Super is in Love. Let's not take the reflection and there.
Oh my God, that is incredible. Kudos to
He's so
Squigs because he
talented.
does phenomenal work.
Oh,
Uh,
he's amazing. He
so
is amazing. Yeah,
If Squigs
Desi-
is watching tonight,
yeah, he did a production of Can with the Desi at Paper Mill. That's how we met.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So.
Yes. So I want to get back. So I want to ask you a question regarding. I mean, being in this business it's tough. Let's face it. What's the secret for having a great relationship in this business? You obviously the love is obviously there, and also deciding to have a baby in this business is a very it's an important decision to make. And then when something like, who knew that COVID was in the horizon, that you are spending 24/7 together.
Yes.
And deciding to put all of this out to the world virtually.
Here we are.
Right.
Well, Well, we discussed like before getting married that we would like a child.
Mhm.
And it's never, people are like, it's not the right time financially or blah blah blah. But I felt like a year after we tried and we were lucky, and
Mhm.
she's awesome. And of course,
Mhm.
I was getting back, because being a dancer too, your strength, you have to get back your strength, trying to lose weight and be able to dance again. And I was just getting really great, and then COVID happened. I was like finally auditioning a lot, and so that you have to think like, what's important right now, and what do I really want, what do I enjoy doing in this realm of business. And I mean, we've found such a positive thing creating between
Mhm.
us, so
Yeah.
that it's changed our priorities, because we can't always, like, I've done more regional theaters and stuff. Broadway is awesome. It's just, you have to be the right fit for it. So
Well, I
like,
saw your phenomenal performance in Anything Goes at Goodspeed Opera House.
you
Uh,
went.
yes, I was there, so I saw, and you phenomenal. Your dancing is just sublime. So yes, I've seen your work. Um,
Thank you.
so yes, so I can vouch for how dedicated you are and how
Thank you.
wonderful you are. But when you've especially, if things like COVID don't happen,
Yeah.
at any given moment, either one of you could be taken on the road and
Mhm.
separated and everything. So what are the secrets for either of you to be able to deal with that? Or is that something that you both have talked about or addressed in terms of being able to deal with that?
Yeah, I think that we're a little bit more picky now, because it's like, what do we really want to do? We've both played leads, and there's still so much more things that we want to do that are out there. It's just like, there's this gut feeling, like if you like get called in for something, you're like, I don't really want to go in for that. That doesn't sound something like I'm going to drop everything and leave my family. But there are certain things financially that will be great, that we will make work. And I think it would be great for both our careers and financially. So yeah, we're trying to, we're seeing that as it's coming, because things are coming back, and
Mhm.
that's a decision. You want to add?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I mean, luckily, before she's in school, we can kind of
we have
pick
time
and choose
still.
and say, oh, we can do, like, after she was born, I went off to do
5 weeks.
Don Lockwood in Singing in the Rain at Main
you
State.
went
Before that, right
to
after
the Muni 5 weeks after I gave birth, and you wanted us to come,
Of
because he's like,
course.
I'm not leaving my newborn. So we all,
So
she was like
5 weeks old.
I was still like, oh. We did it though.
But yeah, so it's about sacrificing and
Yeah.
making sure that we're on the same page with the things we audition for, and making sure we have time for ourselves, and not always being slaves to the work, or like, okay, I have to do this job, I have to do that job. It's like, no,
Because we enjoy doing what we do, and we don't want to just be stuck and do something we hate.
Yeah.
That's why we're all artists, and people we're lost at this time, because it's like, this is what I'm doing. I'm not going to just completely start over.
Mhm.
Some people do, because they maybe have always wanted to do something. Lots of realtors out there now.
I know. Nick, I want to ask you about working at the Muni. Incredible theater. Believe it or not, I was scheduled to go to Africa in February on a safari with Lucy Arnaz, with a huge portion of the money going to the Muni. So I was really looking forward to that trip. It's now been postponed because
Still going to happen, huh?
no, it's going to be moved to 2023. God willing, it's going to happen.
It will.
So if you could talk about the experience of working on that stage, because it's a killer.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I mean, 2 reasons why I love that experience. First of all, it was the first time of me working at the Muni, and I've been always wanting to go. I've heard great things about it. And second, it was my first time doing Jersey Boys, not being the original version. Josh Rose directed and choreographed, so I was really excited to see another spin on it. But the team at the Muni is fantastic. They
Mhm.
take such great care of people, all their guests and the locals and the younger kids as well who are in school that are part of the Muni Kids program. They take such great care of everyone, and it's an incredible experience to step on that, first of all, that massive stage, and then see 13,000 seats in front of you. It's incredible.
Filled.
Yeah,
Filled. Yeah, exactly. It's
exactly.
not empty seats. It's filled. You
Where
know,
do they come from?
exactly.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they say meet me in St. Louis.
Yeah,
It should be a show
it's
or
all
something.
there. Everything's there.
I want to ask both of you. March 11th. Speaking of Liza, birthday is March 12th. Actually, March 11th was when everything shut down last year, or a year and a half ago. What did your calendars look like when everything shut down?
Well, it was looking like we had a bunch of stuff, and then everything stopped.
He had like
speaking of Jersey Boys, I was I was supposed to choreograph it for the Fulton Theater.
Yeah.
And so I was auditioning. It was my last day of auditions. I was in the room auditioning people. We were dancing, and then all of a sudden, like Mark Robin from the Fulton he was like, I have to go back to Lancaster right now.
Scary.
Then everything shut down Broadway, and it was just crazy.
Everything.
Desi was supposed to go play in Chicago, Velma in Chicago, in Sonoma, and that got canceled, of course.
And we had our 54 Below.
And our 54 54 show, Super in Love, was supposed to be a year ago in April.
So, just little things that were exciting. And
when do you? What was your first recollection, either of you, of hearing about COVID? Because none of us. First of all, who would have thought that Broadway would shut down, and for as long as it shut down?
Yeah. I read that maybe 2 weeks before.
We didn't think it was gonna be that long. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's like 2 weeks."
No, but when did you hear about it?
In January, I was doing press and promo video stuff in Sonoma, the end of January. Remember, he was doing
I was at
Chicago.
in Jupiter.
So I flew there, and then on the way back, they're like, "Oh, there was a case in San Francisco." I'm like, "Oh, I'm flying back from there." Like, it's scary, but you're just like, "It's fine," and you fly back, and I was okay, and that was it. And then a month later, I don't know. That's all we kind of knew at that time.
And then
It's weird.
all of a sudden.
So getting back to superheroes, you got was it you were commissioned to do the show, or you got the opportunity to do the show? And then how did you start formatting the show, and what was your process in terms of putting the show together, and how did you come up with the title, and what was your goal with the show?
So at first it was just doing things we love to do, singing and dancing and singing fun stuff.
Separate and together.
And then it was kind of like, how do we create a through line? And then it just kind of made sense that all of a sudden the songs we had picked kind of told a story of romance and love and hardship and fun things, even though they were plucked out of like other Broadway shows and musicals.
Well,
then
that's what we do.
The way that that's how we do it.
We don't write our own music. So.
And the way it was formatted and put in the show was like, it kind of tells this lovely, fun story of how we met, and you tell your story. Like Desi's had 2 knee surgeries, so there's a little chapter about like the hardships that we have, especially in this business. How to do that. But and of course, when you meet someone, there's always that little voice that, are you still going to, will you still love me tomorrow? And this business is hard, and will this last? So you can hear the songs from different musicals that connect with that.
But Superheroes in Love, it's rather random and strange, but I think it's so powerful, and we love superheroes. I love Wonder Woman.
How many movies
Superman.
of superheroes have there been?
Go together.
They make millions of them. Everyone loves to be to have hope, and superheroes inspire them.
So that we just kind of like made a hashtag on Instagram, like when we started dating, like hashtag Superheroes in Love. It's funny. I don't know. And then we were like, what's going to be the title? What do we do with this? And who did you ask?
Our music director at the time, Greg Coffin.
No, just a friend.
No, Greg.
He wasn't our music.
He was our music supervisor. And
he was.
And he was putting his stuff together. But I was like, what do you think we should call it? He's like, Superheroes in Love. That's a great title.
He
Don't
was
try
the
it
one
again.
that's like, do that. And we're like, but people won't understand. But like,
It's a great brand. It's a
Okay.
great brand.
okay, great. Because some people might be confused, but you don't need to look into it so much,
No.
right? It's not like
Right.
it's not that foreign.
Mhm.
We love each other, and Zay's is part of Superheroes in Love. We are just this.
Yep.
we have
Our squigs.
our costume. Yeah, you should. But like, it's like we always pretend that it's like we're getting out of our superhero costume into our like performance garb. You know, like that's kind of that's what we. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to add anything to
No,
that?
that's it. That's how it just
Yeah.
made sense.
Yeah.
And then we kind of like got it,
And we
got
went
our
with it.
got our logo, and then it was like, this is great.
Yeah.
And have you performed in many cities, prior to 54 Below? And did you open at 54 Below?
No, so we didn't. We've done it in Jersey twice.
Mhm.
One with the Ocean City Pops,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
something-
great. Incredible.
Yeah, and then
We've done it in Sonoma. We've done
Sonoma,
it
yeah, well,
recently at Paradise Ridge Winery.
oh yeah,
At Feinstein's in
At
Vitello's in
Vitello's.
LA.
that's what was our first live,
That was
performance,
this year. That
which was in July. So
Mhm.
that my family lives there, so it was so
Okay.
nice to have everyone there
Yeah.
and friends in LA.
Yeah.
And then
So
yeah,
it was supposed to be last
Yeah.
April at 54 Below,
and
canceled,
so now we're doing.
but it's rebooked for November 30th at 10 p.m.
Yes.
So we're very excited. We're putting that together right now. And
Yeah.
what's fun about our show is that even we have some songs that we do kind of frequently, but we're able to pluck and take stuff out and swap things in. So the show's
Yeah, it's-
always different and always
yeah.
changing. You'll have 3 or 4 songs that we always do or that we love, and then
Yeah.
we'll put in new things. Like the one in November is like celebrating the beginning of the holidays. So we have
Couple of
a few
holidays.
holiday show. Most times Liza makes an appearance.
Yes.
So
That's
always-
wonderful.
He's always around.
I want to ask each of you how you both made your way to New York originally. I mean, obviously you both love New York. So how did you each make your way to New York?
Nick, you want me to go?
go first.
I went to AMDA. I always wanted to go to New York. I've only went to New York to visit once in high school, my last year, 2000 of high school. And we went and I was like, this is awesome. We saw shows together, but then I went and just saw shows by myself whenever I had the moment. And I was like, this is great. How do I get there? I don't know if I could go to school in another city and then just move. I don't know if I have that because I have no one here. There's no family on this side. So I went to AMDA, graduated 2 years later, and it was great because you have the connection of the teachers and people that you went to school with, and you're already living in it and walking to school. You're on the Upper West Side. So that's what got me here. That's that.
And when I first came to New York, long before both of you were born, but when I came to New York, AMDA was in the Ansonia Hotel. Is it still there? I mean, I think it's still there.
Yeah, I did my drama, my acting demo, my final there. There's that stage. They have a stage there. Yeah, it's right. It's still there. They still have a couple offices and some acting classes there. So
And
yes, they do.
Do they have dormitories, housing there, or did you have?
Not at that. It's like on 73rd, and that's where they have some dorms, and then some in like the 60s by the other location where the old Alvin Ailey. The old Alvin Ailey is the newer, huge building with amazing dance studios.
And approximately what year was that you first came to New York?
I went 2003 to AMDA and graduated 2005.
Okay. And what about you, Nick?
Your story's awesome.
I was on tour with the musical Mamma Mia.
Mhm.
Nobody's heard of that show.
Never.
Oh no.
To age myself, it was the pre-Broadway tour. So the show.
Who was in that production?
So it was Louise Pitre and as the lead as Donna Sheridan and
yes.
Tina Madigan. So they took those 2 leads from our tour and they went to Broadway.
Oh,
But
so they originated it
yeah.
in the very
Mhm.
Well, from the North American production.
Yeah.
So it started in London, got so popular in
Oh, yeah.
London. Then Toronto, the
Uh-huh.
producers, Nervish Productions in Toronto produced it. And then we were there for 8 months. So popular that they replaced our cast while we went on tour. And listen to this Cadillac tour. 3 months in San Francisco, 3 months in LA, 3 months in Chicago, 3 months in Boston.
That was the beginning.
That was my tour.
And then you're spoiled for life.
Yes. So anyway, so I was in Boston with the tour, Mamma Mia, and my agents called and said they're having an audition for Oklahoma on Broadway. Would you be interested? You're close by. So on Sunday, the 9th of September, I took a bus from Boston. On the 10th of September, I auditioned for Oklahoma. And on September 11th, 2001, I was trying to get on a bus to get back to Boston. And there was 6 cast members that had come to town from Mamma Mia because it's so close. And of course, every show was canceled. I think across the country.
Yeah.
But wasn't it scary to get around? Wasn't it like?
It was eerie because it was a beautiful day.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
It was
very vividly.
You know, at the bus station, I was like, "Where's the bus to Boston?" They're like, "Oh, there's no bus, trains, or planes leaving Manhattan right now." I'm like,
didn't know.
No, I had no idea. I was like, "Oh,
What
okay."
time was that? Like
10 a.m., 10:30. I think my bus was at 11:30 to get back at like 5. But anyway, so anyways, to make everyone knows the story of 9/11 that day, so I won't mention it here. But then the silver lining is that I was offered Oklahoma on Broadway. And so I moved to New York January of 2002. Started rehearsals.
What an amazing! That's such an amazing.
That's amazing.
Just right away.
I mean, but 3 months in each of those cities, that is unheard of.
Yeah, it is. Do that.
But do you like each of you? Do you like being on the road?
I haven't done it as much as you. You've done most of your life.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of my
because you get to save money and you get to.
If you're good, if you're smart, if you know how to tour well. And I'm the kind of person that I always discover great restaurants, museums, things to go see and do because some people,
I love it.
Right? Like you have to explore. Some people are like, "Oh, I'll just stay in my hotel room and then a day off. They might go out."
I was like 25.
Yeah.
I knew it was important because I did the international tour.
Oh.
I literally flew because I was a replacement. Flew directly to Spain, and then Japan and Israel and it was a world tour, not just like Europe and Italy and France and all these opera houses and time off. We had a lot because sometimes we didn't do 8 shows a week because it's like Europe and they don't need that. So yes, I mean when I was doing that,
you saw amazing places.
I still saved money, but I still did so much going. I would have never been able to go to all those countries. So yes, touring that way
it's fun.
Really exciting.
But to think of touring right now with a 3-year-old and 2 dogs, how do you do?
I mean, if there was something for us together, sure.
If we're together, then we'd buy an Airstream and bring the dogs and be in a trailer.
I'm going to send you both a photograph of Eve Arden when she was doing Hello Dolly, and she traveled, I think, with 8 dogs. And I mean, I've got this great photograph of her with the dogs, her entourage, and everything.
How does she travel?
She
They just had her. Oh
yes.
That's amazing.
It was very different than it's at that time anyway. I want to ask each of you, this business is, this past year and a half, excluded, of course, is not always sunshine and lollipops.
No.
What is the most difficult time that you both have had to go through as far as the business in itself is concerned? Now, I'm always about celebrating. So I want to look about the light at the end of the tunnel. So a difficult time that you went through and how you got through it, whether it be through faith or determination or the people that you knew, what got you through the difficult times?
Well, the first one's okay. I was young, but the main one, I was so excited.
A knee injury.
Yes, but it's a lot of things. I was Tiger Lily in Kathy Rigby's Peter Pan, rehearsing 2 weeks in. This was like the height of just dancing. It's so hard. You've seen it, so much. And I got one day to rehearse with her because she comes in later, and we did like Ugga and all these numbers together. So much fun. And then like literally the next day during one of the numbers, we rehearsed it a lot, and I literally was done. I landed weird. My knee was out, and I had to leave. They didn't know what it was for a while, but I had done something similar to my other leg, but it was different. So it took a while to figure out and stuff. So I was out of that. So that, you have a tour planned ahead of you. So it was very, very difficult.
What was the injury?
Oh, I tore my ACL and my MCL. So
Ooh.
both the ligaments that literally hold your knee together. That's how hard I was dancing. So, I had already been through it before, and it takes if you're a dancer, a year to fully get back. So I'm like, the positive thing is I knew what I had to do, and I would be better at it this time. The negative is like, oh, another year out of what I love doing and just being not able to do anything. So it was really hard, but you always know why years later and what it was, what I needed in my life. Like, who knows what that tour may have been? I might have heard it later. Like, I don't know. But like, that was so difficult because I had done it before, and I was like, not again. Why do I have such bad luck?
Yes. My mantra: everything happens for a reason.
And yes, I did say that back then.
And you didn't know me.
I didn't, because I had been through it before, and this is what I believe. I was in a relationship that was blah, and I think it made me like really know what I want, and I dumped him and just so many things. Became more like, okay, this is about me. I need to do everything for myself right now. That was before kids and everything.
Yeah. Did you go home to recuperate at that time? Did you go home?
I was rehearsing because Kathy Rigby, the La Mirada is where they rehearse. So I was home. It was fun because I could be home for a little bit, going to work there. So I was already home. I had the surgery there, waited a month, flew back to New York and had PT from like the best dancer is here. I knew I needed to do PT in New York because this is where all the dancers are. Yeah. So I came back and slowly got back and had milestones happen, and I would become more excited to do things.
Good for you. That's great.
Yeah. Thanks.
Great.
You. He's like, I don't have any.
And what about you, Nick?
I mean, the hardships I've experienced, I've been very fortunate in my career. I've been, a combination of talent, hard work, and being at the right place at the right time. That what has been hard at first for me was being Canadian. So being Canadian, I hired in the States. The companies were kind and kind enough to get the process of getting a work permit for Canadians to be hired. So for Oklahoma,
you got your Canadian equity card, and then how long did it take you after that to get your American equity card?
So Canadian equity and American equity have a reciprocity agreement, so that if you're American equity, you can audition and be hired for Canadian equity shows and vice versa. But to be a Canadian to work in the States, you need more than just the equity card. You need a work permit. So the companies that hired me, like Cameron McIntosh, his production, got me it's called the P2 Performers Work Permit. But you can only work for the company you're hired for. So when Oklahoma closed, then it's like, oh, I have a lease. I have a life here. But luckily, I was able to book with the Boy from Oz right after that. So they got me a work permit. And then tell him. And then what?
Who wrote you?
Oh, yeah. So fast forward a few years later, after working in the States quite often, I was like, well, everything keeps bringing me back to New York. So then I applied for my green card, or at least, for my green card. And to get a green card, you need to prove that you're extraordinary in your field, an alien of extraordinary capabilities. So you need recommendation letters from people in your field that, that say, great things about you, sometimes not as good as it can be, or they blow up your ego. But anyways, what she was referring to is that I got a recommendation letter from Wolverine himself, Mr. Hugh Jackman.
That worked,
So
right?
I'm sure, yeah,
But that's not a
the immigration
hardship.
officer was like, "Oh, yeah, Wolverine
That's
recommends
not a
something."
hardship. though.
No, but at that
But
time,
being-
there's
And why wouldn't he?
exactly. He's the
but
best.
yeah, having that at that time when Oklahoma closed for 3 months, I was living off my savings, and like I'll have to move back to Canada and break my lease and lose my, like it was
Yeah.
scary not to know. And
Yeah.
as is this business for everyone, but
Yeah.
Americans at
But
least,
you,
there's
yeah, we would be
audition
hired.
or
You
have a Joe
other
job. I couldn't
hurdles.
even get a Joe job to pay my rent.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I, that, or unless you're working on the table and paying, being
Yeah.
paid cash. But anyway, so that was the uncertainty of being Canadian,
Yeah.
being losing my foothold in New York at that time. So, but aside from that, again, being a white straight man in this business, I've been very fortunate compared to
Yeah.
many people who work really hard and don't get the chance. So that's my little story of
Mhm.
that.
So what's next for both of you? I mean, you've got the show coming up on the 30th of November, and our tickets on sale now at Feinstein's 54 Below. I'm going to make sure that all those details are posted on YouTube so that everybody will be able, who's watching the show, will simply be able to go there. I'm going to try to be there myself that night.
Yes,
There.
yes.
Absolutely. Will Liza be able to make an appearance that night, or is it past her bedtime?
Nope, she'll be there. Are you kidding? There's martinis.
Yes.
What about little Liza?
I wish
Oh,
she could
little
come.
baby Z Liza. She
no,
might.
it's too late.
She might be in the opening video.
Yeah, we have some. But she's so young. She'll be so. She's already sleeping.
Yes. So you can see it
Little
live, and we're also doing a live stream
Yes,
of the
if
show.
people can't make
So,
it and they're
a lot of our fan base in San Francisco and California and the wine country there,
Yeah.
if they can't fly to New
we
York,
have
and see
a
us.
virtual stream. Broadway-worthy and 54 Below are filming it, so
Yeah.
Wonderful.
that's special for other people.
Yeah.
And I mean, Liza is going to be back at 54. It's going to be back at Studio 54. So, where's she going? So what is next for you? I want to ask both of you in this business, and this may sound like an odd question that I'm asking each of you, but I interviewed Davis Gaines a few weeks ago, and he said being in this business, it's like being in a pinball game. You plan it out, but then you're thrown around like a ball in a pinball machine. How ambitious are both of you in terms of planning out your careers?
I mean, I haven't had a chance to really plan. I don't like. Do you plan? How
No,
ambitious? Or you just let it come. And,
I mean, like they say, if you want to get a job, plan a vacation. So we booked a vacation, we got jobs.
yeah, we literally.
So you can't
recently,
plan
yeah.
anything, and especially this business, you can't be like, well, I plan to be
Yeah.
on, and that's the course
We can
line.
plan our own stuff,
can
but
plan-
not for
yes.
others.
No, like even the chorus line quote is like, well, what you can't plan. You say, oh, I'm going to plan and be here, and I have to be on Broadway by 25. But
Yeah.
okay, no, if I'm
Yeah.
not, I have to be in a show or lead by 32. Like
Yeah.
if you do that, then you'll have regrets, and tomorrow will kill you, right? What does Liza say? The fear of tomorrow. So
Yeah.
we can plan of goals. We can set goals. We can set ambition and targets and
Yeah.
things that we want to achieve by and
Maybe
by
a timeline, and then we'll
driven.
figure something else out.
Yeah, but having as well, like especially now our daughter, I keep looking over there. She's sitting on the
Over there.
couch looking at us and smiling. Our daughter is our priority now. So that's why we're choosing not to do regional jobs that are taking us away from our family, myself or Desi.
That aren't something that's
That
like,
we
I
can-
gotta do
Yeah,
this. Just not everything.
If it's like 2 or 3 weeks where, like
Yeah.
a leading role at the Muni, I mean, that's a
Yeah,
great gig.
yeah.
That's easy and you can come,
Yeah.
or vice versa. If you get it, we can be there.
Yeah.
But, planning is that's, you plan it and they don't go pinball, you get shot around. And
Yeah,
it's-
like just like
You have
I've
to.
had so many auditions recently, and something that I was so close. Like I had 5 callbacks and like filmed, and I was like, I think this was it. And then I didn't get it. I was like, it was just like 2 or 3 women. But like I had these like plans, like that was something I was like, this is, I was so excited about it. It could still bring something in the future.
Mhm.
But like, that was something that's like, your mind is a pinball. Like it's just you expect or you think something's gonna happen, and then you're just so let down. But you're like have to look at it as a positive somehow. And
Well,
I have, yeah.
I want to ask you, who are your superheroes in this business? And of course, Wolverine has to be one of them.
Gosh,
So who are your superheroes in the business?
it's a definitely.
I mean, Hugh Jackman was the kindest, best, fun person to work with. I loved working with him. I love Andrea Martin. Like I still email her.
She watches our
She's
show.
watched our
She
shows.
would watch our virtual
Well, I
shows.
hope she's watching. I love you, Andrea.
She like would send
adore
these
her.
beautiful emails and I'd be like, I'm keeping this forever because it's someone that has been around and she's so nice.
She's so great. Of course, who are the superheroes that I have?
Well, our parents.
Yes,
They've
but
always
in this
supported
business.
us.
In this business.
Oh,
No, parents are okay. Mention them.
yes, our parents, of
Yes.
course.
Oh yeah.
They have been. They can't come to
Supporting
our
us.
54 below.
They'll
but
be watching.
They were in
Live
LA.
stream. But your inspiration, like Cheetah Rivera.
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, Cheetah Rivera is still kicking and just
Absolutely, she is.
so amazing. And I just watched the Rita Moreno.
Isn't that amazing? And
thought
her
about her
honesty.
for years. I thought for years, for days, I couldn't stop thinking about her and how she paved the way for people and for women and just what she went through and her honesty. She's an incredible woman and look how amazing she looked.
I know.
She is still like walking with like just so beautiful. She is an amazing woman in every facet. I just love her. Of course, Liza, Cheetah, and Rita. It's always like those are my favorites.
Yeah.
I love them. Yeah.
Well, before we run out of time, and I've just loved this tonight. I hope you've had as much fun as I have. One of my favorite shows was Inside the Actors Studio. And this is my homage to James Lipton. He always ended the show with his questions. I'm not going to ask his questions, but I've got some random questions that I'd like each of you to answer.
Okay.
And we're going to start with you, Desi. What would you most like more sympathy for?
More sympathy. Oh, for being a stay-at-home mom right now.
Okay, and Nick?
Oh, same question as Crab. I was like, oh, what's my question? More sympathy for?
It's gonna be toward me.
Yeah, I'd like more sympathy towards you being nicer to me when I forget things.
Yes, he doesn't know what
I'm
anything
tired.
is. Yes.
Or I forget where things. I'm like, Desi, where's this? Like,
Yeah.
Open your eyes. It's right in front of you. Yeah, more sympathy. Yeah, I can't think of anything.
That's great.
That's fine.
And Nick, we'll start with you this time. What is your favorite store in the world?
Oh, wow. When I was a kid, it was Hot Topic. That was fun. And now my favorite store, I mean, I love Apple products. The Apple store is amazing. I love gadgets and technology. So there's a store called Beta, B8TA, and it's about new products new fun things like Tonal, the mirror that you can work out with like wires is there, and like this pure air purifier that removes everything, or with a plant on top. So it's cool gadgets like that. I'd say those are my two favorite stores. Yeah.
I have two.
Okay.
Costco.
Oh yes, Costco. That's my favorite.
And Nespresso.
Oh, good.
So much, and we have an espresso machine.
Yes.
I'm always like, oh, can I try one? And then buy it and see the beautiful cups. And it's very random. This should be fancier than that.
No, I think those are perfect. And Desi, we'll start with you this time. What was your most disappointing experience? Well, I think you've already answered this. Experience on stage, and it had to be that with your knees.
Yes.
Let's do the flip side. What was your most exciting experience on stage?
Oh, when I got to recently play Sally Bowles opposite Nick as
Wow.
That was very exciting. And it was the first role back after having a child. And I've become a different actress. I'm not in my head as much being a mom. So I want to approach everything like that.
Mhm.
Wow.
So
And where was
great
this? Where was this?
This was at MTC, at Music Theater of Connecticut.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Nick, I'm going to ask you the same question, but you have to give a different show because I know you want to say the same thing.
No, I just want to say the same thing.
Yeah, I understand.
Your most exciting experience on stage.
When I first was hired in Mary Poppins on Broadway in 2006, I was a swing and a Bert understudy. And the very first time I went on it for Bert, I will never forget that. The entire cast was supportive and cheering and happy, and was excited for me to go on. And the end of Act 1, when Bert, if you've seen the show on Broadway, it's a huge nursery, roof that flies down. And Bert is preset before, like when he's above the curtains. You go down slowly. And I was laying on my back, whistling the Chim Chim Cheree, and I looked to my left and the audience appears. And it's just, that moment was forever. It gives me shiver. I have chills and I have goosebumps. Still think of that moment.
Oh, incredible. Nick, what is the strongest opinion that you hold?
Oh, the strongest opinion.
Oh, God.
What do you think my strongest opinion?
What?
What's like my pet peeve? Oh yeah, my strongest opinion. People who say they will do things and don't do it.
Same.
People who don't, who are like, oh,
Or
that's great.
respond.
Oh, you're doing a show. Oh, I'd love to be there. And then they make plans, or they say, oh, I'd love to grab coffee. And I say, okay, great. Hey, I'm free Thursday. And then they never answer back or never say anything. It's like, it takes 2 seconds, or say no, or don't. If you don't want to grab a coffee with me, say no, I don't want to.
Or people that say they are going
Yeah.
and at the last minute they cancel, even just a party. We always make an effort if we say we're going, unless it's like terrible and something with our daughter. You will do it because you know how it feels.
Yep.
I'm the same way. It's really getting older. You find out who your friends are, and none of our friends are our age. I don't know if that makes sense.
They're
people.
old.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I mean, do you both share? I mean, is that your strongest opinion as well?
We always talk about it.
Oh, good. So. I feel, it's this. I feel my word is my bond.
Yep.
And anyone who knows me knows that that's absolutely, if I say I'm going to be somewhere, I do it. So yes. So that's good. What is the most difficult problem that you've ever had to solve? Either one of you can go first.
Oh. How do you solve a problem like Maria?
Musical theater, it's in your blood.
Oh my gosh, that's so hard.
That's a very interesting and hard question. What's the most difficult problem?
I think
balancing relationship in this career.
Yeah.
Finding the line where you're not being selfish and you're being giving to the other person, but you're still not losing yourself. Because I have some friends that, when they're in a relationship, they completely lose themselves and they don't have their drive. They forget who they are, and they stop making plans with you. And they're like, well, I have to give all my whole self to them. So it's finding, I think, because I've had many relationships. I've been a serial monogamist my whole life. I've had long relationships, and then I've had to go, I moved to San Francisco for 2 years to do Wicked there. So I had to leave a relationship because I wanted to do that show, and it was a long distance for that, So I think figuring out the balance to say, you know what, this is the person I want to be with, and I have to find that line. So it's this is a priority, but also still keeping who I am, and vice versa. I didn't want you to lose and not be able to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we've had so many things that we cross over on, like where we don't get to see each other in something. And it sucks because it's your favorite person, because they're working as well at the same time.
I know.
That's something that's very hard. And also, like, thinking about having another child, like that's something that's a decision that I always going back and forth, because I want to be selfish because it's my body and I need to do what I want to do, and I know how long it takes to come back. So that is something I'm always thinking about. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Great question.
I'll decide one day.
Desi, what is the strongest, and maybe again you've answered this tonight, what is the strongest that you've ever had to be in terms of making a decision in your career?
I think that, I mean, coming back after knee surgery and immediately going into dance roles, you have to really be strong and figure out what you need to do for your body to not let that happen again. And I do think, like, after, like, I have worked with Patty Colombo a lot. She's not really doing much anymore, but going back to do, after hurting myself in the hardest Peter Pan choreography, I did Can, which was like so difficult. You know, it's doing the can and jump splits, cooter slams. I can't say that, but like just really difficult on your body. But I was like, no, I have to do this. I have to show myself I can do it. And to prepare for that, I have to be strong and be very focused. And I would warm up a whole hour before and like have so many strengthening exercises that not just stretch. I had a whole program. So just that's strength wise and strength wise,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. And in that cast, all the girls got injured except Desi.
Wow.
Right?
Not fully big.
Yeah, but they were injured. Yeah.
And Nick, what room in your house do you spend the most time in?
I think she's laughing because I'm about the bathroom. Speaking of, my daughter has to go to the bathroom. Okay, you set up her little bench, her little seat. It's the time where I answer emails and I do business. Our bedroom, of course. Our bedroom is there's the computer, our bedroom office. Now that our daughter is born, she takes over one room where my office was. So I spent a lot of time like doing voiceover recordings in my closet, in our bedroom, and all that stuff. And of course, we sleep there and we enjoy it. I spend in the closet.
And my last question for you, and and Desi, when she comes back, and maybe you've just answered the question. Just where would you most like to be right now?
Hawaii.
I think that answer is the same for both of us. On a beach in Hawaii.
Yeah, we love Hawaii.
With our daughter and our family, just enjoying it.
We love Italy too. Those are two different Italy's. Like, let's go
the
eat.
Amalfi Coast.
And then
and
then Hawaii's like, let's lay
But our
back.
bucket lists are also Australia, Thailand are two places we'd love to go as well. So
well, hopefully soon. Don't go anywhere for just a moment. I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. I don't take it for granted that you could have been anywhere else for the last hour. And I can speak for Nick and Desi when I say the same thing. Those of us who are in the theater, we appreciate it when you spend a little time with us. If this was your first time here, please go to, there's a little button that says join the celebration. My goal is to celebrate artists of all walks, both sides of the footlights, because we're all artists in this together. So click that little button and check out all the other artists that I've celebrated previously. There are over 320 prior to this, and there hopefully will be 320 on the other side. So click that little button if you don't mind, and check out all the others that are here. Also, there are 3 things you can do that will help Nick and Desi and myself as well, because we want to sell out Feinstein's 54 Below, and the information will be there. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and share. And if you share, feel free to tag me and tell your friends about this show, and check out the other shows that we do here. I also end every show by telling everyone to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. Go to your Facebook friends list, and the 9th name that pops up, reach out with a phone call. Not an email message, not a text message, not a private inbox message, a phone call. And let that person know what they mean in your life. Because as our dear friend David Friedman says, we're all in this together, but we're not in the same boat. And I always say, if you're going to go out in a boat, make sure you bring a skipper along. Nick and Desi, I'm going to leave the screen and I'm going to give you the final word. anything that you want to say about anything that we talked about tonight that you want to build upon, or anything that we didn't talk about that you wish that we had, or just any message that you want to put out to anyone who's watching right now. Again, Howard Tucker, thank you for making this introduction tonight and making this suggestion. You're a great friend and I love you. So thank you. Don't worry about how is this going to end. As soon as you say goodbye, I know how to end the show. So thank you so much. And I am going to commit to being there on the 30th. I will see you in the flesh. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
I think what Richard said in the beginning, it's important to support artists. It's not, if you're in New York City, Broadway's awesome, but there's so many talented, wonderful people that are trying to give and do stuff, and they're just as valid. And I believe that with our show and people we've seen at 54 Below, and it's just support artists in general, virtually, on stage, that I think it's so important.
Absolutely.
So we hope that people watch virtually or in person.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Howard Tucker,
Yes.
Lorna Schreck, who's watching. Hi, Lorna. And Robin McKendrick, who made a comment as well. Robin over here.
Yes.
People who have supported us and support artists and who watch the show and who are here. I think that there's so much, frustration and anger in the world. And I want, like Richard has said, the ninth person on your Facebook, great, give him a call. But every day you can be a superhero without even knowing. Just lead with kindness. Be kind with people. You don't know what anybody is going through personally in their battle in their world. So if someone's having a bad day and they're short with you, or they say something rude, just be a smile, a kind gesture, not being in a rush or offering a hand to someone who looks like just anything, a smile, or hey, can I give you a hand, or can I help you with something?
It goes a long way.
It goes a very
Being
long
a mom,
way.
someone did that the other day with the stroller, and they helped me with the gate, and it made my day.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you. They didn't realize how much it meant, but it's so important.
Yeah, lead with kindness. So that's. Do you have anything else to add?
No.
That's
support artists and
Yes.
lead with kindness.
Lead with kindness.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard.